War Room Sports. www.warroomsports.com. What? Ain't no more to it.
Welcome to Inside the War Room on War Room Sports TV. We're here today to talk a little bit about two players who have a chance at getting into their first NBA All-Star game, but we're going to weigh the pros and cons and whether or not we think they're going to get in. I'm here today with my co-host, Jimmy Williams, Akil Bayon, and of course, I'm Devin McMillan. Fellas, let's get it in. All right, these two players they're pretty much an interesting case. In the case of Joakim Noah, when he came into the league, nobody really thought that he would be that successful or be anything more than just a hustle guy, because coming out of Florida, he didn't really have any discernible skills, not much of a back-to-the-basket game. His jump shot looked like Bill Cartwright or somebody. Akil, going to you first. What do you think are the chances that these two guys could possibly eke their way into the All-Star game for the very first time? What are their numbers, first of all? What are these guys doing this year to even warrant us doing this video?
Okay, first of all, you have Joakim Noah, who's averaging a career high in points at 14 points per game, tied for his career high in rebounds at 11 per game, and a career high in assists at 4.3 per game. He's also getting a career high in blocks at 2.3 and steals at 1.4. And Anderson Varejao, he's averaging 14 points per game, which is a career high for him. He's averaging also 15 rebounds a game, which is a career high, to go along with 3.3 assists as a career high, 1.5 steals career high, and his blocks are at 0.6, which is a low for him. Now, let's start with Noah. In the midst of Derrick Rose tearing his ACL, those that watch basketball understands that Joakim Noah is a willing and very able passer. So the Chicago Bulls have decided to run much more of their offense through Joakim, and his assists last year were 2.5. Now they're up to 4.3. But because of that, his turnovers have increased from 1.4 a game to 2.9 per game. Now with Anderson Varejao, the Cleveland, they're a bad team. They've been a bad team. And if you remember that Kyrie Irving has missed a lot of games this year. So once again, he is a very willing and able passer. So the Cleveland Cavaliers have decided to run much of their offense through Varejao, and he has a career high in assists, doubling. Last year he averaged 1.7. This year he's averaging 3.3. And both of these guys are doing what they can to help their teams win, but I think they will cancel each other out. They obviously won't get voted in for one of the top front court spots, but I think whoever winds up being the coach for the East is going to have to make a decision. Do we want Varejao or Noah as an All-Star?
Yeah, because they're probably going to look at them as, okay, these are the same guys. We're not going to have two of them on the All-Star team. And some of the guys that they have in front of them, as far as pecking order is concerned this year, you guys can just add guys that I forget, but of course you have LeBron James, Carmelo Anthony, and keep in mind that this year with the All-Star voting and just the All-Star balloting in general, they've taken out center, so now it's just front court. So with the fact that the league is minus the traditional center in many aspects, you could have an all-forward All-Star team in theory. So you have LeBron James, you have Carmelo Anthony, you have Chris Bosh, Kevin Garnett will probably get another nod. Paul Pierce, guys, name some more people. Josh Smith from Atlanta.
Yeah, that's
who else?
You're talking about possibly Brooke Lopez, possibly.
Yeah.
Tyson Chandler as well, because the Knicks are playing well.
Okay.
There's a lot. I'll just say right now, in terms of the voting, now we do know that the voting only counts for the starters, but LeBron James, of course, is one. Then you have Melo, then Garnett, then Bosh, Chandler, Paul Pierce. Then you have Joakim Noah. So, Noah is up there. In terms of Varejao, he's not getting the love that he deserves based upon how he's playing. Yeah. And, Dev, you made the great point that it's just front court and back court now. So that kind of changes things. With that being said, these guys are playing great basketball. Although Cleveland stinks, he's having a career year. Noah is playing better than anyone thought he would ever play in the NBA. But at the end of the day, there's only so many spots that can go around. I think Kill is right. I think one will make it and the other won't. And it looks like if I had to judge right now, Noah will make it. He's playing for a team that actually is a better team than Cleveland,
Yeah.
and he's going to get a lot of love based upon that. And also, Noah is a good defensive player as well. So you have to
Now,
take that into consideration.
do you guys think that's right though? Because the All-Star game is an individual award, so I'm not sure how much your team is winning should even go into the equation. You have a guy like Varejao who's averaging like 14 and 15 versus Noah who's averaging 11 rebounds in his own right. Will you look at it as kind of a snub because it's no secret between these two guys, Noah is the more popular guy.
Yeah.
Would you guys look at it as a snub to Anderson Varejao if they chose one instead of taking both of them and they ended up choosing Joakim Noah?
Somebody's going to get snubbed. That's just the way it is. That's the way I see it. Now, I'll be surprised if both made it, but somebody's getting snubbed.
Yeah, I think Anderson Varejao won't make it because right now Cleveland has 5 wins, the Bulls have 12 wins, so it all depends. It's going to be determined upon how many wins do the Cavs have by the All-Star break, or when it's time for the coaches to choose. If they're still at 20% winning percentage, if he averages 20 and 20, he still may not make it.
I'm thinking if Brook Lopez was in the mix as far as the coaches' vote is concerned, I might even put Anderson Varejao in the All-Star game over him this season. Brook Lopez, he's more of a traditional center, of course. He has a back-to-the-basket game. But in all actuality, he's missed a few games this year. His rebound numbers are nowhere near either one of these guys.
How many rebounds does Brook Lopez average, by the way?
I think he averages like 6 or 7 rebounds.
How do you average 6 or 7 rebounds and you're 7'12"?
Yeah.
In the league, nonetheless, with no centers, how do you average 6 rebounds? Never mind. Go ahead, man.
Yeah, but Varejao may have, he may ultimately get the Dennis Rodman treatment, where that's what he does is really not exciting enough for an All-Star berth. But you guys know my theory. And every time I try to bring this up, I forget the dude's name. Man. If Jamal McGlure can make an All-Star game, then I think you could put Anderson Varejao and Joakim Noah into it.
But remember, that was before this change of just front court and back court. I think they needed center at the time, and he was playing center. And they had to fill. He's probably the reason why they had this new rule, by the way.
I was just about to say that.
And Hibbert.
This is probably the Jamal McGlure rule.
I know, right? And Hibbert, too. Like, Hibbert is a good center, but should he have deserved – because he made the All-Star team last year, right? Like, was he deserving of an All-Star? I don't think so, but he's a good center.
Yeah. Not an All-Star caliber center, but now it's on his resume, so they're going to call him NBA All-Star Roy Hibbert. And I know everybody who's a Georgetown fan.
He got that chicken. He got that money based upon that too.
Yeah, and he's averaging 9 and 9 this year, 9 and 9. Where Lopez is averaging 18 and 7 to be accurate.
Okay, which in itself is pretty good. So it'll be a difficult decision if it came down to guys like Lopez, Noah, and Anderson Varejao. But just thinking about the All-Star game in general, it would be kind of funny to see people in the game like Joakim Noah and Anderson Varejao. On Noah's part, he probably could make it exciting though. He'll get into the game, get a couple blocks, dunk on somebody, scream. He'll probably make the best of his time as an All-Star. That only brings me back to when Crash, better known as Gerald Wallace, made the All-Star game. Now, he made it strictly off merit, and I think he deserved to be there. But from what we're used to seeing in an All-Star game, he just seemed like he didn't fit in. It's like once he got there, it's like just a regular player amongst stars, even though he had played at a star level all throughout the first half of that season. So that's something that I think they probably would take into account, though, being as though the All-Star game is a show. It's a grand stage in the NBA, and they definitely want to keep the game as exciting as they possibly can. But this is an interesting case because I think this is two guys who, the way they're playing thus far, they both probably deserve a nod. And it's just going to be interesting to see if they kind of break the mold of the All-Star game and let these guys in.
Yeah, I mean, you have to think about that as well. What's going to be more exciting? Now, I know the coaches probably don't, but Brooke Lopez will slow the game down. Let's face it, he just will. So, I don't want to see him there. But with that being said, the way he plays, he deserves to go. It's just going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult. There's always someone every year who deserves to be an all-star who doesn't go, and there's always someone who gets on based upon what they've done in the past, i.e. Kevin Garnett. You know what I mean?
I think to snub these type of guys will be easier for the coaches in the league rather than, sometimes when you have a log jam in certain conferences.
Like Zach Randolph.
There's actually superstars, on the outside looking in, versus guys like this. They'll be much easier to snub for an all-star game.
And also, they have to do something with this fan voting too, man. Andrew Bynum got like close to 70,000 votes, man.
Yeah,
Andrew Bynum.
I've been telling people since Linsanity last year, like, don't be surprised if Jeremy Lin is starting in the All-Star game for the next 12 years.
He's third. He's third in voting right now. He's only behind Kobe and Chris Paul in terms of guards. And I wouldn't be surprised if he caught up to Chris Paul either. But
right.
Yo,
that's the early return.
He has more votes than James Harden. That's crazy.
Because he has more people than James Harden.
Harden is actually right behind him, and then right behind him is Russell Westbrook. And behind Russell Westbrook is Steve Nash.
Oh my gosh! Canada only have 30 million people.
Then fans get upset when we call them idiots. You idiots. All right, guys. So before we sign off, Joakim Noah and Anderson Varejao, do you have one getting in, the other getting in, or both? Jimmy, who you got?
Joakim Noah. I got Joakim Noah getting in, and Anderson Varejao watching from his couch.
Doc Bay.
Joakim Noah. I'm gonna ride with my Bulls. Also, they're winning better and winning more. That's it.
All right. I think I agree with you guys. Like I said, when it comes down to these two guys, Joakim Noah is the more popular person. I hope that the coaches aren't just doing the whole popularity contest as well, because then they'll be idiots just like the fans. But I do think, even though Varejao is having a better year statistically, I think if it comes down to the two, I don't think they'll take both. I think they'll take Joakim Noah. So, of course, before we sign off, make sure you guys visit our YouTube page, warroomsportstv.com. Watch all of our videos. Make sure you click that like button on the videos, and make sure you comment on the videos, because we will comment back. So we're going to sign off, and until next time, don't accept mediocrity and be steadfast in the war against ignorance. Peace.
It's the war room with 5